In the headlines of this hour on VTV News, National Assembly's Q&A session for Prime Minister, ministers and sector heads ends with major success. Later on, Vietnam's top telecom self-developed 5G chipset. And in our world news, G7 foreign ministers meet in Tokyo.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good afternoon. It is currently 3 p.m. local time and you're tuning in to 30 minutes of VTV News. I'm Lin Lei with the latest updates. Now, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính addressed the National Assembly, providing clarification on various issues and answering questions from the deputies. He emphasized the importance of implementing solutions to boost the tourism industry, as well as promoting decentralization and administrative procedure reforms.
Could the Prime Minister please indicate the specific directions for the tourism industry's future development, including the use of existing advantages and solutions to capitalize on natural resources, capital, science and technology, workforce, and soft power?
There are 5 solutions to fuel the development of the tourism industry, including the party's directions and the government's legal regulations, the main growth drivers set by key leaders, resources for tourism infrastructure and the labor force, and close collaboration among relevant ministries and departments.
The government and the Prime Minister have also put forward measures to promote decentralization in state management. Could the Prime Minister please point out specific solutions to successfully implement this major policy in the near future?
First, strengthen the leader's role in directing the implementation of this policy. To promote decentralization, it's crucial to enhance empowerment from the central government to local governments and improve enforcement capabilities at grassroots levels. Second, we should strengthen institutional reform. And third, all levels should join forces to promote decentralization.
The redundant administrative procedures and the low fulfillment of some administrative officials pose challenges to the country's development. What measures will the Prime Minister put forward to handle these shortcomings?
We must step up in raising awareness of the importance of administrative reform. We must ensure legitimate interests for officials and employees working in the administrative sector so that they can fulfill their assigned duties. I suggest that ministries and departments should conduct a review to cut unnecessary administrative procedures. Ministers and leaders of centrally run cities should also contribute further to this task.
During Tuesday's session, the National Assembly dedicated the entire session to questioning government members on various issues, including industry, economics, internal affairs, justice, culture, and society. This activity has been receiving increasing attention and appreciation from National Assembly deputies and voters across the country.
Through the questions raised by the deputies and the debates among them, we can see that their activities are in line with the expectations of the National Assembly's supervisory delegation and the People's Councils.
Products such as functional foods, medicines, and cosmetics are items that have a direct impact on human health. Therefore, if these types of products are not thoroughly inspected, it can lead to unpredictable consequences. During the QA sessions, the National Assembly deputies asked the Minister of Industry and Trade questions about the responsibilities of state management agencies regarding these products.
The government members' responses are on point and straightforward. They held responsibility and accountability for their shortcomings in a very transparent manner.
Regarding the agricultural sector, I think the Minister's answers are very clear. He emphasized the importance of improving the agricultural economy. He also pointed out measures to create jobs for farmers and increase their participation in boosting local socio-economic development.
I really appreciate the performance of the National Assembly chairman as the host during the QA sessions. Thanks to his effective time management, the sessions have been well coordinated.
Issues related to socioeconomics, healthcare, education, science and technology, and job creation that are debated during the session are relatable to people's lives. I hope the ministers and key leaders will provide more breakthrough solutions to these issues.
The Q&A session of the National Assembly has officially concluded after 2.5 days. During the session, 457 delegates registered to ask questions, 152 delegates exercised their right to question, and 39 participated in the debate. In this concluding remark, the National Assembly chairman highlighted that this is the first time in the 15th National Assembly tenure that the Prime Minister, all Deputy Prime Ministers, and 21 ministers and sector heads directly answered questions from National Assembly deputies. The chairman also commended the agencies that implemented the National Assembly's resolutions seriously and responsibly, providing many synchronous solutions. However, the Q&A session also revealed several shortcomings that need to be addressed. The National Assembly will consider issuing a resolution based on the session to support agencies in effectively implementing the National Assembly's resolutions and promptly addressing the identified issues. In the past 10 months, the European Union, or EU, has issued nearly 3,900 food safety warnings for imported agricultural and food products. Out of these, 55 warnings were given to agricultural products and food from Vietnam. Now, this number has decreased by about 15% compared to last year. The product group that receives the most warnings is vegetables and fruits, with 23 cases. Seafood products, confectionery, and other processed products follow. Roughly 60% of the total violation cases are due to a high percentage of chemical residues. According to the EU's regulations on food safety and disease prevention, every 6 months, the EU will review all enterprises exporting agricultural and food products. If exporting enterprises comply well with the regulations, the frequency of inspections will decrease. Europe is a significant agricultural and food export market for Vietnam. However, it poses challenges due to its constantly evolving food safety measures and regulations on animal and plant quarantine. As such, Vietnamese businesses should have a clear understanding of these regulations in order to swiftly adapt their production to meet the new standards. Additionally, relevant agencies should support businesses in their export strategy.
This enterprise has exported numerous products to various European countries. Many of these importers frequently provide updated information on technical barriers related to food safety. Therefore, businesses require assistance from the Vietnam Sanitary and Phytosanitary Notification Authority and Inquiry Point to save costs and time.
Markets frequently lack comprehensive legal information portals or have incomplete ones. Additionally, language barriers can arise as not all importing countries provide legal documents in English.
On May 10, 2023, the European Union issued 103 draft notifications for comments from WTO members regarding modifications to food safety and animal and plant quarantine. If goods fail to meet the importer's standards upon arrival at the port, they will be either returned or destroyed. Improper shipping procedures, especially for fresh agricultural products, also raise the risk of receiving a warning.
Improper disinfection in food processing can result in the presence of prohibited substances in food.
Vietnamese businesses that wish to export their goods to the EU market must carefully review and implement the draft announcements to ensure compliance with manufacturing standards. This is because the announcements regarding food safety and the quarantine of animals and plants are mandatory regulations for exporting goods to this meticulous market.
Exporters will face an increased frequency of direct inspections and suspension of exporting goods if their products continue to receive warnings from European importers. Therefore, it is crucial for relevant units across the supply chain and production to make concerted efforts to address this challenge.
To ensure the supply of goods for the year-end period, the Ministry of Industry and Trade has taken numerous measures, including lowering prices and coordinating with distribution enterprises for stable sources of goods. At this point, businesses have production and distribution plans, and they committed shortages of goods, especially essential items, which will not be the case this year.
Having built a stable raw material area and invested in new machinery, this business is well planned to supply goods and essential items as well as keep prices stable for the year-end period.
We learned many lessons from the year-end period last year. We plan to produce more to keep items in reserve. We also built our own raw material areas, imported wheat starch from Tay Ninh province and invested in a modern flour factory.
This company has mobilized $22 million to make nearly 1,100 tons of fresh food and 3,800 tons of processed food ready for the market. The company has reserved about 20% of its finished products for the case of market fluctuations.
We supply the market with products at suitable prices. We accept the fact that the company would make less profits so that customers can enjoy our promotion and have all they need for their Tet holiday.
Retailers have worked with suppliers since this June, planning for stable supplies. They have had plans to keep prices stable, increase promotions for essential goods and items. Discounts of up to 30% will be in place for this year-end period.
Demand will increase during the week before Tet holidays. We have plans to ensure stable supplies. We will also issue promotions to boost consumption.
In Ho Chi Minh City, the year-end and Tet programs have started. Sales can reach up to 7%. Prices are about 10% lower than prices during the same period last year. The city's supermarkets have increased the supply of regional specialties to serve demand.
Before I move on, let's have a look at the exchange rate between the Vietnam dong and some world currencies in today's market. Coming up next on VTV News, Vietnam's top telecom self-develops 5G chipset. And later on, public bike service in Hanoi attracts participation of 100,000 people. Moving on to other important updates. For the first time in Vietnam, the most advanced and complex chipset of the 5G ecosystem has been successfully developed by Vietnamese engineers at Viettel. It is the 5G DFE chip. The fact that Vietnamese engineers have fully mastered the design of this high-end chip is especially important for Vietnam in the context that 5G chips have not been globally commercialized.
The small 5G DFE chip is manufactured using TSMC 22 nanometer technology. It has 200 million transistors, which means each transistor is 1/500th the width of a human hair apart. For 4G technology deployment, Viettel was able to purchase 4G chips designed by commercial chip companies. However, with 5G technology, the rule of the game is different. Globally, only 5 to 6 countries have the technology to make 5G chips, and they have not yet commercialized it.
In 2018, 2019, it was impossible for Vietnam to master this technology. These are the world's most advanced technologies in chip design. We received support from Synopsys in sending a team of Vietnamese engineers to their R&D center in Belgium. Through discussions with engineers who hold that core technology, we understand that Vietnamese engineers can completely reach that level. We evaluate this as a great success because they were able to do it in such a short period of time. And their products can compete with products of leading chip makers in the world in the 5G technology race.
If 4G is compared to a narrow lane, then 5G is the expressway system that helped elevate the Vietnamese economy towards digitization. The fact that Vietnamese engineers could successfully design the 5G chip not only proves that Vietnamese people can do it, but also it laid the foundation for other technology advancements in the future. And to do this, effective government policies are needed to be in place.
For first-round products like this, it is very difficult to make a profit to generate money to reinvest. Incentives like tax must be guaranteed for a technology equipment product that integrates chips designed by Vietnamese people.
Investment in startups as well as investment in research groups in Vietnam is still very little. But knowing how to cooperate with the world's technology leaders to make chips that are globally competitive is something we are witnessing in Vietnam. Synopsys is also trying to convince our major customers around the world about the capabilities of Vietnamese companies.
The 5G DFE chip is an example of Vietnam's latest achievement in mastering high-end chipset products. It helps Vietnam engage more deeply into the global semiconductor industry and be able to produce other high-end chips in AI, 6G, and IoT in the near future.
According to a poll from Outlook Traveler magazine, Hanoi, Da Nang, and Ho Chi Minh City have been listed among the top 10 fastest growing destinations for digital nomads. The term digital nomads refer to people who work remotely while traveling. Da Nang ranks second on this list, while Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City ranked 8th and 9th respectively. The list is based on an analysis of approximately 300,000 registrations in the website database over the past 2 years. Nghệ An province has 5 out of 10 mountainous districts with extremely challenging conditions. Local authorities have implemented numerous projects to extend power grids to remote and border areas, making a significant contribution to improving the lives and economic status of ethnic people in the region.
After decades of waiting, people in 12 villages located in the border communes of Kỳ Sơn district now have access to the national power grid, bringing light to their homes. Both local authorities and the Khơ Mu people are content with this development.
This power grid will help the Kangdu commune develop its economy while ensuring security and defense. It will also provide students with better conditions for studying.
Despite the challenging terrain, which is divided by high mountains, dedicated efforts have been made around the clock to extend the national electricity grid to remote areas.
Kangdu is one of the communes in Nghệ An with the most challenging terrain and climate. Despite these challenges, local authorities have made efforts to bring electricity to this area.
These villages have experienced impressive changes since the introduction of electricity. The residents have expanded their integrated farming models, embraced advanced agricultural practices, and enhanced their income. The Rural Electrification Program, which extended electricity from the national grid to remote border villages, is making a significant impact in Nghệ An province.
A once abundant coastal protective forest stretching nearly 8 kilometers in Tiền Giang province is now experiencing serious erosion at the rate of 15 to 25 meters per year. The Gò Công Sea Dike has a total length of over 20 kilometers, with 17 kilometers directly facing the East Sea. Due to the direct impact of sea waves, landslides have been occurring continuously, particularly during the monsoon season. Presently, the protective forest can only be found in a few locations with a thickness ranging from 4 meters to approximately 40 meters. Over the past 10 years, coastal landslides have destroyed 47 houses and posed a threat to 120 households residing along the sea dikes. Over 100,000 people have registered to use Hanoi's public bicycle sharing service, with approximately 135,000 rides made in the first 2 months. This service is not only suitable for short-distance travel within the city center, but also convenient for the public passenger transport system.
This student used to spend 20 minutes walking to catch the train to school. However, he has now saved time by opting for the public bicycles available at the station near his house. The entire process of picking up and using the bicycle is done through a mobile application on his phone.
The public bike service is quite inexpensive and suitable for traveling short distances.
Hanoi launched this service after Ho Chi Minh City, Hai Phong, and Da Nang, but the number of users in the capital city now exceeds half of the total. Furthermore, within just 2 months of launching in Hanoi, there are already over 100,000 registered users.
It is environmentally friendly and suitable for students. Even workers like myself find it very convenient to use. Its stops are located near electric train connections, making it easy to reach our desired destinations when we pick up the bikes.
The bike service is located at key tourist spots such as West Lake and Hoàn Kiếm Lake to facilitate travel and boost city tourism.
The high demand for public bicycles in Hanoi has been evident after 2 months of implementation. As a result, the service will continue to be expanded in the near future.
Đồng Tháp province plans to allocate approximately $7.5 million for the restoration and protection of the Saurus crane population at Cham National Park from now until 2032. The objective is to increase the wild population to 100 cranes within 10 years, with a minimum survival rate of 50%. If successful, this project will play a crucial role in preserving the Saurus crane population in the lower Mekong region, which is currently at risk of extinction. In recent years, there have been instances where no cranes have appeared, despite the park usually receiving a significant number of Saurus cranes returning to their habitat annually. Coming up next in our world news, G7 foreign ministers meet in Tokyo. Later on, China imports shows significant growth. Moving on to our world news, the G7 foreign ministers meeting began on Tuesday evening in Tokyo, Japan. It included foreign ministers from the United States, Japan, Germany, the United Kingdom, France, Canada, Italy, and a representative from the European Union. The main focus of the meeting was to address the Middle East crisis and other global issues. During the session on November the 7th, they discussed the conflict between Hamas and Israel, as well as humanitarian aid in Gaza. Japanese Foreign Minister Yoko Kamikawa emphasized the importance of dialogue within the G7. On November the 8th, they continued with sessions on the Russia-Ukraine conflict, developments in the Indo-Pacific region, the North Korean nuclear missile program, and the action plan for commitments made at the G7 summit in Hiroshima in May. Portugal's Prime Minister Antonio Costa announced his resignation on Tuesday amidst an investigation into alleged irregularities by his government in handling lithium and hydro mining projects. Costa made this announcement in a televised statement where he defended his personal integrity but stated that he would not seek re-election as Prime Minister. Before this, Portuguese prosecutors had charged the country's infrastructure minister and arrested Costa's chief of staff. Currently, a separate investigation into Prime Minister Costa is ongoing. China's General Administration of Customs has released trade data revealing a slight increase in imports and exports during the first 10 months of the year. The total trade volume for this period reached $4.71 trillion, representing a 0.03% rise compared to the same period last year. In October alone, the total import and export volume increased by 0.9% compared to the previous year. ASEAN remains China's leading trading partner, contributing 15.2% of China's total trade volume. trade between China and countries involved in the Belt and Road Initiative is also growing, indicating an upward trend in trade among these nations. The Deepavali festival is in full swing in the neighborhoods where the Indian Hindu community resides. Busy buying and selling activities are taking place in Little India. Our reporter's observations from Singapore.
The festive spirit is evident on the streets and in every store in Little India during these days. Shoppers are busy getting ready for Deepavali, one of the most important festivals for the Indian Hindu community, which makes up nearly 10% of Singapore's population.
Our festival Deepavali, for buy something for family, for my children.
Season, right? This one is the Diwali festival, right? So we are providing so many free gifts and promotions. So that's why the customers is a lot of customers is coming our shop.
In the temples of the neighborhood, a significant number of visitors and pilgrims participate in essential rituals. These rituals include offering flowers and lighting lamps. People come to pray for the well-being and happiness of their families and loved ones. However, the true essence of Deepavali, the festival of lights, comes alive in the evening when the entire neighborhood is beautifully illuminated.
And this year, hopefully, Deepavali will be doing very well around the world. And we are very happy because a lot of business prospects are coming down and tourists are traveling around here. And we hope we will be doing very well in this year.
Organizers expect to welcome around 5 million visitors to the Deepavali festival this year, thanks to a range of activities including food festivals, music, and promotional programs.
Before we say goodbye, let's have a look at the weather forecast. And that is all that we have for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can visit our website, our YouTube channel, or download a mobile app VTVgo for more. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.